This is ABC15 Mornings.
A growing number of confirmed coronavirus cases here in Arizona as communities brace for what the pandemic will bring in the week ahead.
Also, stores across the valley now forced to change their hours as fears among consumers have them clearing shelves.
Plus, brand new video reminding drivers to listen to those flood warnings in Gila County. We'll show it to you coming up.
We are so glad that you're starting your Sunday morning off week with us. We still have a lot of weekend to enjoy.
We do.
And so we appreciate you starting with us. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Zach Crenshaw. And while we're hearing social distancing, stay at home, you can go out and enjoy the weather, avoid large crowds, but it's a beautiful day.
In fact, it's good for your system to enjoy some of the sunshine. You just want to keep that safe distance with other people. So get on your bike. Go for a walk around the neighborhood. It's going to be another gorgeous day like yesterday. It's mild once again this morning, so start off by opening those windows, that back patio door, and grab yourself a nice hot cup of tea or coffee this morning. 53 degrees in Phoenix. We've got just calm, light breezes out there. If you have an early morning tea time, we've got great golfing weather too. By 9 o'clock this morning, we'll be in the 60s. It'll be cool. We're going to continue to see our skies clear as we head toward the middle of the day. By 11 o'clock this morning, we're in the mid-60s. Also something to keep in mind if you're heading out to church services this morning, just that light long sleeve for early, but then I think you'll be rolling those sleeves up by later today. I'll talk about just how warm we will get coming up in just moments.
Millions are bracing for the week ahead as authorities around the world turn to drastic measures to stop the spread of the coronavirus. The state of Arizona now with 12 confirmed cases and new information from the state's health department overnight. There are 4 cases in Maricopa County, 5 in Pinal, 2 in Pima, and 1 in Graham County. But the CDC says as many as 70,000 people in our state could be infected with the virus, and only about 200 people have been tested so far. For the latest case in Maricopa County, the county's public health department sending out this tweet saying it's a woman in her 30s who is isolated at home. They're working to figure out who she came in contact with and how she may have come down with the virus. Another alarming number, and we don't want to alarm you too much, more than 150 5th and 6th graders at Pima Elementary School are now self-quarantined after a staff member down there went to work while unknowingly sick with the virus. ABC's Adam Waltz speaking to the superintendent of the Pima Unified School District about their next steps.
How many students were in those 2 grades that are currently now under quarantine?
So we quarantined 166 students and 5 staff members.
A staff member at Pima Elementary School testing positive for COVID-19. That female staffer had been at the school for 2 days while showing symptoms, not knowing she had been exposed by a friend who was exposed in another state.
We know that some students have developed symptoms.
Pima Elementary and the Graham County Health Department asking those nearly 200 students and staff to self-quarantine. The district will have a testing clinic next week for students to be screened.
We need to work together to minimize the spread, to slow down the transmission of this illness.
Pima Unified is on spring break this week. Graham County Health wasting no time bringing administrators together to talk about what's next.
Our health department is hosting an emergency meeting this weekend with all school superintendents tomorrow to determine if schools should be closed.
You're one of the few superintendents, maybe the only one here in Arizona, that's been this open about coronavirus in your district. Why is that important to you to be talking to me?
We know people are nervous. This is something that isn't well understood. It's something that affects children, and we all, feel for children. But our primary focus is doing everything we can to preserve the health of our community healthcare system, make sure that, people who desperately need medical attention can get to medical attention.
There's Adam Waltz reporting there. On Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, Pima Unified in Graham County going to have an open testing clinic at Pima Junior High School from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for anybody, especially children, experiencing even mild symptoms.
Now, this is something we've probably all experienced at this point. So now Arizona's grocery stores are asking customers to be understanding as they start to cut their hours because so many people are rushing to the shelves over concerns over the coronavirus. A lot of you have actually been posting photos on your social media accounts showing scenes like this: shelves out of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, cleaning products. I was just telling the crew here, I went to the store yesterday, potatoes were wiped out, so is the pasta. We're told businesses need more time to restock. So a lot of stores are launching some new hours here. For Walmart, Fry's, Bashas', and Albertsons, you can see the modified times on your screen. They're still staying open pretty late, 10, 11 o'clock at night, but stores that are typically open 24 hours will no longer be. They are changing, so they will have a closing time. The Arizona Food Marketing Alliance tells us that you don't need to worry about widespread shortages.
Fortunately, the food industry here has big distribution centers, so they've been able to replenish the shelves with the products they have on hand quickly.
Now, you should expect some stores to start limiting how much certain items you are able to buy. Some places already have. You might see limited numbers of water gallon jugs that you can buy, but everything will eventually return to normal. Just give it a little bit of extra time. And in the meantime, we are going to keep you up to date as this major story develops. All of our continuing coverage is easy for you to access. Just head to abc15.com/coronavirus.
Well, here's some good news. Workers are wanted here in the Valley, and this week a job fair in Mesa can help you find one. The career fair, hosted by Arizona Senator Martha McSally, will be at the Mesa Convention Center on Tuesday from 11 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Everyone is welcome, and the event will feature employers from the defense, education, and healthcare industries.
So new video is giving us another reminder of why drivers need to listen to the warnings by the Gila County Sheriff's Office out in the Tonto Basin when they shut down the roads. Do you see what happened here? That truck is just floating along, the driver having to be rescued in the Tonto Basin Creek. Just yesterday, they were trying to cross it and then were swept away by water. So we're working to get more details from authorities about the condition of that driver, but we were told this was a rescue, which means that they were pulled safely out of that truck. We have to thank Randy for sharing this video with us. That is a scary scene, and that is exactly why they say turn around, don't drown. We know that folks who live in that area are used to seeing that flood, so sometimes you take it for granted. You think you can make it across, you think you've lived there for decades and you know the conditions, but that can still happen.
And you may be desperate, right? You don't like the food in your pantry, you want to get out, you're getting cabin fever, but the reality is it's not worth it. We've seen what's happened at Tonto Basin in the past, or even, you know, streets here in Phoenix when people get swept away, so it's dangerous.
It's a cautionary tale, and in fact, if you look at the map, there is still an aerial flood advisory in effect for the Tonto Basin continuing through tomorrow afternoon, so you will still see conditions like that lingering. So again, you do not want to cross those passes and those low water crossings, and we do have more storms coming our way, so flooding threats will likely continue. As for back here in the valley, we're seeing those first little peaks of sunshine this morning as we get closer to sunrise, and the temperatures right now still in the 50s, but this afternoon we're warming into the mid 70s. It's going to be a gorgeous spring day, folks. I'll show you how we get there hour by hour coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
Well, we've seen a number of athletes test positive, but the Diamondbacks minor leaguer who was tested for coronavirus does not have the illness. General Manager Mike Hazen said the player was tested out of an abundance of caution after his flu test came back negative. The team receiving the results on Saturday. Again, that minor league player cleared to join the team again. Well, with spring training canceled and a whole lot of ball players still in town, Cincinnati Reds pitcher David Carpenter and Trevor Bauer took to Twitter to try and get a Sandlot game going. This is a pretty cool story. It happened last night at Miracle League of Arizona in Scottsdale, but rather than an actual pickup game of baseball, it was a game of wiffle ball. Indians pitcher Mike Clevenger was there, and the Sandlot game was broadcast all across social media channels. A GoFundMe also set up to support stadium workers displaced by this season being postponed. So great to see that athletes are still connecting with their fans.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not what we'd see at a minor league game with the crowds.
Sure.
But they're still
and see what's happening right there? They're handing out the hand wipes afterwards. So after all those high fives,
beautiful,
they still took the precautions to sanitize. So that's the message right there. If you're in a controlled group with low risk, you've got to continue to minimize that risk. And so that's what they did right there, too. So we appreciate that they showed us that they did that, too.
But, man, are we missing sports.
I know it's rough. I know it's rough.
Brutal.
But I love that people are getting creative like that.
Right?
The internet is such a tool that we can use. So I love that they did that to keep the fans engaged, like you said.
Exactly. I know a lot of people are watching old March Madness games, especially when their teams win. Like, people are picking, like, the Butler season when they went to the Final Four.
You got to find the one that makes you smile.
Exactly.
This is making people smile, too, because pets are now taking over the internet as well as a lot of people start working from home.
Yeah, this is great. Time Magazine finding the hashtag COVID-19 has a lot of dog stories on it and pictures, right? People love it.
So look at this guy right here. His owner says that he's been promoted to work from home office manager right there.
That's great.
Sure.
Many people are asking others to lighten the mood by sharing pictures of their pets, calling it a welcome distraction. These guys just thrilled to have mom work from home, their owner says.
Absolutely. You know, they're probably keeping tabs on your office supplies too, though. So, you know, don't go hoarding the staplers at home because it's rough for them. They'll get you.
They will. Look at that little face. That Frenchie's not letting up. No. Well, store closing sales pop up each week, but buyer beware because closing deals may not be a deal at all.
Like a prison. Still ahead, quarantine travelers from that now famous Princess cruise ship are sharing new pictures of what they are going through.
This is a health issue. It's not a political issue. We're talking about people's lives.
And a former U.S. Surgeon General asking the question, why is there so much misinformation spreading about the coronavirus?
Fill your stomach while filling hearts, and a big need. March is the month of giving at Jersey Mike's. So they are sponsoring our ABC15 telethon benefiting Phoenix Children's Hospital. You can donate every time you go in. And then on March 25th, circle that on your calendar because on that day, 100% of their sales go to our telethon. We've got more on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
New images coming in this morning from passengers who were on board the quarantined Princess cruise ship. Some are still quarantined on a California military base right now. According to our sister station in San Diego, some travelers say they feel like prisoners. And the owner of a pipeline that spewed thousands of barrels of crude oil off the coast of Southern California in 2015 will now pay $60 million to settle allegations that the company violated safety laws. The spill on May 19, 2015 blackened popular beaches for miles and killed hundreds of wildlife while hurting both the tourism and fishing industry for months. And 3 people in Mississippi are guilty for over $10 million in Medicare fraud from one of the state's hospitals. Jurors in the whistleblower lawsuit from 13 years ago finally came down with the verdict last week. Criminal charges were not involved in the case. Were not involved in the case. The trial was aimed at recovering Medicare's money plus damages and fines. Well, the beaches of Miami were full this weekend, but it's not from spring breakers. Many people were walking along the beaches Saturday say they got stuck and can't go home amidst the travel ban because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, I kind of didn't take much notice of the virus and just thought it's nothing to do with me until now. We're a bit took off that holiday. They told us to get into America before midnight yesterday, which we'd done. And now we just found out that we might not be able to get back home, so we don't know what we're going to do in a minute. Literally haven't got a clue.
Man, what a nightmare. The 30-day ban on travelers from 26 European counties coming or going took effect yesterday. They're adding 2 more countries on Monday, the UK and Ireland. You know, there are worse places to get stuck than Miami.
That's what I was going to say. There are worse places. I mean, they're at the beach, so things could be worse. It's more the money, the toll that I think that it takes of unplanned stays.
Absolutely, and just the impact it has on your life at home, right?
Yeah.
If you have pets or family members that need your care, I
Right.
mean, it really throws a wrinkle in everything.
It really does. But as we saw sunshine there, hopefully we can give you something to enjoy if you're a visitor here as well. Starting with a stunner of a sunrise this morning that's cooking up. It's gorgeous out there. Papagos in the distance. You see, we are waking up to some of those clouds, but that's also helping give us just this great palette of colors this morning. That sunrise this morning at 6:38, and with our clouds and radar live view here, you can see some of the clouds that are just still lingering over our state, those high clouds, but they will continue to clear. You might still see some fog this morning up in the high country where it's also very cold this morning. Flagstaff is still below freezing at this hour, sitting at 31. We're in the 30s in Prescott and Payson as well. So if you're getting out to walk the dog this morning, definitely still going to need those winter coats. We have not turned the corner yet when it comes to high country temperatures. Heber has now dropped into the upper 20s this morning. Window Rock is sitting at 28 degrees, so it is a frigid start up there. Here in the valley, with that cloud cover, it's helping keep some of the warmth that we had yesterday. So it's still a very mild morning. It's cool but comfortable. 52 in Scottsdale, 53 in Tempe right now, 54 in Goodyear. Anthem is one of the cooler spots, though. You've made it down into the upper 40s this morning. But hour by hour, here's how we start to climb to that peak temperature of the day. By 9 o'clock this morning, we're in the 60s, and we'll linger in the 60s for several hours through noon when we warm to 69 degrees. Then just after lunchtime, we cross over into the 70s and we continue to climb. By 2 o'clock, we're at 73 degrees, and that's not even our highest temperature. Winds will also stay calm today. Our warmest temperature of the day is going to look like this: a high of 76 in Goodyear and Levine. We'll see 76 in Tempe and Gilbert as well. A little bit cooler in Peoria and Glendale, topping out at 75. Same temperature in Queen Creek. Maricopa warmer at 76 degrees, but up in Anthem and Cave Creek, you're going to stay in the low 70s today. So pretty perfect spring temperatures valley-wide. And we are going to see that clearing by the middle of the day. More sunshine. So be mindful when you see that sun that the UV index today is at a 6. That is considered part of the high category. So it's a 30-minute burn time. So let's just make sure that we're still getting in that habit of using sunscreen. Highs across the state today. 70s across central and southern Arizona. Mid-70s along our western border. To our north, if you're headed up to Sedona, great hiking weather up in the Red Rocks. 61 degrees your forecast high for today. Over in Prescott, 48 degrees. On the eastern side of our state, we'll see a few more clouds mixed in with the sunshine in Shiloh and Heber with highs in the upper 50s. We'll come close to 60 in Window Rock, mid-60s in Page. Flagstaff, a little bit warmer than yesterday, but still mild at 52 degrees. Futurecast is going to show us how those clouds will kind of build throughout the state this morning, but then we start to clear by the middle of the afternoon, and then we have more clearing statewide as we head into the second half of the day and those early evening hours. So it'll be a great day to move your dinner outside this evening. If you still have lawn work to do, go ahead. We're giving you the green light to mow that lawn today, tomorrow, even Tuesday, but make sure you do it early Tuesday, because by Tuesday night, we're starting to see a storm move in, and Wednesday is our big rain event of the week. We are talking about measurable amounts of rain here in the valley, a quarter to a half inch of rain possible. So enjoy the warm up today, tomorrow, Tuesday, and then a weather action day Wednesday as that storm system moves in. I'll talk about the timing and also how much snow we're going to see out of this system too. That's coming up in that 7-day forecast in just a little bit.
No, hey, thank you. Well, as more businesses move online, hundreds of stores are closing their physical doors, which means liquidation sales. And they're tempting for sure. But as ABC 15's Kaylee O'Kelly shows us, sometimes they're not always a good deal.
Store closing sales pop up every single week. Sears, Macy's, JCPenney, GameStop, and more. Places like Radio Shack and Payless Shoes are already gone. But buyer beware. Those closing deals may not really be a deal at all.
Too high for something that's going out of business.
Here's the problem. Stores raise prices to full list price before starting a liquidation sale. Then they start at just 5 or 10% off, meaning the item might still be cheaper somewhere else. By the time the deals get down to half price, store shelves are typically empty. Plus, be really careful when it comes to appliances or electronics. All sales are final. So if the item doesn't work, you won't get your money back.
That was Kaylee O'Kelly reporting there. Bottom line, you can score a great deal, but make sure it's really a great deal before walking out of that store, because as you heard, you can't return it. It takes a few seconds to price check it on your phone by typing it into a place like Amazon. Well, shoveling students to school and saving the environment. A new look at what the future of our school buses could be. And is taking a nap good or bad for your health? Well, it depends. We're going to break down the heart-healthy way to enjoy a nice siesta. But first, SpaceX Starlink satellite launch. It's taking over the internet with 60 satellites heading into space. Stay with us.
So as we come back on the air at 6:24 this morning, we're giving you a live view of the SpaceX Starlink satellite launch. We're waiting for it to launch. We see the clock. They've reset it a couple of times, so we're waiting to kind of see what that means, if they're ready to go. We do know that the rocket is going to be taking over 60 internet satellites up into space. We, of course, with SpaceX have been seeing them launch several new things and trying to find new ways to repurpose their materials, because usually you can't reuse anything after it's been sent to space. So they're trying to figure out more economical ways to do that. So again, we see them talking about it. So this is live. You're getting live views. So they're talking about what's going on and when they'll be ready to launch. So we're going to continue to monitor this and see if they start that timer and what happens with it. And we'll update you as soon as we know once they go, and we'll bring you the video if we have to in a little bit. Meantime, there are 500,000 yellow school buses in the United States, and one school district in California is changing up their fleet for the better. 30 buses that now carry students are electric. It's helping in the reduction of the school district's carbon footprint. The bus driver and students say they do notice a difference in the ride as well.
When you drive in this bus, there's no diesel, there's no fuel to work with, there's no natural pumps that you have to hook up.
The electric buses, they don't have that smell, and you could actually kind of breathe.
The school district also does expect to see a savings of close to $100,000 every single year. Now, we're not able to see, just for a moment, we're going to deviate just for a sec, back to the SpaceX thing, because you just read an update about it?
Yeah, I just checked Twitter. Apparently the launch was aborted at like the final second.
Oh,
so
okay.
unclear why, if there was something that came up, but we'll find out and try and get it in this newscast.
Right, we'll update you as soon as we learn.
A lot of unknowns.
In the meantime, I know I do. How do you feel about naps?
Well, you need it on the morning shift.
It's a
I
different
work
shift.
nights most of the week, so yeah, I probably need one this afternoon.
Yeah, that power nap. It could be a good or a bad habit for your heart. We're actually learning. It depends on how much you nap.
Interesting. A recent survey on napping habits found out people who nap more frequently and for longer periods of time had an increased risk of heart problems. Hopefully it's not the case for you, Nohe. But those who took short power naps, about 15 to 20 minutes long, were less likely to suffer a heart-related event.
So if you don't have any underlying sleep disorders, what happens then is that if you nap, then you no longer have that sleep pressure to fall asleep when it's time to fall asleep during the nighttime.
So doctors say while it's okay to take a short nap every now and then, the main goal should be getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Of course, that's ideal, but my brother's got a newborn, so I know he's not getting that.
Definitely, yeah. He's going to have to find other ways to up his heart health through diet and exercise. Got to come at it from another angle.